VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up. NFL news and injury notes to go over. 4 Major League Baseball playoff games. Week 7 look-ahead lines. Best and worst NFL and college football teams ATS. Rich Gannon in 15 minutes. Sal Palantonio on the program. Mike Palm and Jonathan Von Tobel as well. So we will keep you updated throughout on the baseball playoffs. Right now, Tigers are leading the Guardians. This game is not that old. What are we in the 3rd inning now? Mm-hmm. And the Tigers have scored a couple of runs as they now lead 2-0 going to the top of the 4th. Phillies and Mets coming up in about an hour. The NFL news, Pauly, I think this is kind of significant because he was on pace to have a monstrous season. Nico Collins, the league's leading receiver in terms of overall yards. Weird, though, right? The way that this was handled. He went from day to day to then we heard, like late yesterday, week to week, and then all of a sudden, bam, he's on IR, which means he has to miss the next 4 games. He had that rapport with C.J. Stroud. They love going deep to him. As you said, he was on pace to, you thought they were going to just kill the Bills had he not gotten hurt.
They would have, yes. He could have had 2,000 yards. Yeah. It was alarming how bad they were once he got hurt.
Yeah.
So see if they can, now they get the Patriots now, but moving forward, and we're expecting this team to be right there with the Chiefs and challenge the Chiefs and be one of the best teams in the league. We've been disappointed in them thus far, how they got housed at Minnesota, how they couldn't put away the Bears, how they couldn't put away the Bills, and we're lucky to win that game. It's a big injury, no doubt, and he's a great wide receiver, but they have other weapons now. So, I mean, you got Dell, you got Schultz, you got Diggs, so you have guys that, but the problem is you can't run the ball. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Have no running game, and they have to get healthy, but big injury, no doubt.
I think thankfully for them this week, they are getting Drake May and the New England Patriots.
Correct.
Which I'm still surprised the Patriots decided to go with May this week against this defense with the Patriots offensive line being in shambles. Mm-hmm. There is that. Great tweet here from Joe Osborne. Texans under first half in 10 of 11 road games since the beginning of last year. In New England on Sunday, a Patriots team here, they are averaging 4.3 first half points per game across their last 3 games. First half total is 19.5. Do we have fireworks in this game?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No. That's a strong number and a strong tweet. And I don't think the kid has a chance behind that offensive line, which we've talked about over and over again. And we'll see what they do with that. But if that goes 6.5, 7.5, but they play games with it, but sitting there at 7.
Yep. There's also this, and right now it's circa. Philly is up to 9.5 against the Browns. Stefanski earlier today said, quote, he was asked if there was even a thought or conversation about sitting Deshaun Watson. The answer, no. One-word answer.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Rich Gannon in 10 minutes. The locker revolt has to be coming. Has to be the locker room revolt has to be coming. The guy is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. There are guys open. When you look at the tape, he's not making the throws. 0 of 12 on third down, 212 yards against Washington. Their record, everything completely unacceptable. As our friend Tony Rizzo, we played the audio, ESPN Cleveland. They ruined and wasted a season here. So whether Cooper asked out, other guys are just, and I thought Chase Daniel had a good point, the former NFL quarterback. You have to have command of the huddle, and the guys have to respect you. And there's no way he has that. Number one, off the field issues, and number two, his bad play. And they know Winston and other guys are better options. He has not given you the best chance to win. He's holding you back, and he's the reason the season's over and why you're priced as the worst team in the league.
I'll give you a prediction. By the way, they're 8-1 at Westgate for fewest wins. A much bigger number than DraftKings.
You're kidding.
No, look today.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah, they have a couple of other teams ahead of the Browns. DraftKings has the Browns as the short shot on the board.
That's a huge difference.
That's a gigantic difference.
Who else is ahead? Did you remember?
Carolina, I believe, was one of them. Who's also Patriots were ahead of them.
Huh.
Yeah. So,
but it's the worst right there, worst offense in the league, though, and they're not going to take him out.
Well, I'll give you a prediction here. We're going to have a Raiders-type situation going on with the Browns where players are going to be making business decisions.
That is true.
Oh, suddenly I can't go. I got turf toe. Oh, the hammy feels bad. I don't want to go out there and play again unless something is done about it. And it's not going to. Stefanski said it again today, not going to. What number would you need to back the Browns this week?
Can't do it. I would 14? 13.5?
Yeah, I would probably lean Browns like plus 14.5. Now 9.5. It doesn't mean I love the Eagles at 9.5. There's no chance I'm betting the Browns at this number.
Yeah. Between everything with the O-line and he's in his own head, can't do it. It's a get-right game for Philly. Off the bye, getting everyone healthy. One of the best offenses we think in the NFC. And he falls behind, then he can unleash hell with the pass rush. That's, good luck with that. But that's the other thing about the locker room revolt. They know Stefanski has no say. I mean, come on.
I know.
How can you do that?
It's all tied together.
It's just the guys above you calling the shots and saying, nope, ride it out. He's our quarterback. The best case scenario, like you said, was these accusations keep flying. And apparently he settled one of the suits, which helped him out again, or an injury, because they are just stuck. Yep. But it's just... Again, you said no to Flacco, and the guy's lighting it up every single week.
I'll throw some updated series prices at you here in Major League Baseball. See if you like any of these dogs. These are prices at DraftKings. The Phillies are plus 210 to come back and win the series. The Dodgers are plus 255. The Royals are plus 130. Does any dog to you stick out?
Yeah.
You maybe like them to win tonight, and then you can, do
absolutely.
something then.
Royals, absolutely. And Aaron Judge props under. Absolutely.
You like Lugo tonight? I
already have the Royals, and yes, I like Lugo. You can go back and forth on the Schmidt stuff, but the fact that the Yankees were lucky to get Game 1, and Witt hasn't done anything yet in the series, and it's 1-1. So Judge total bases under, Judge hits, runs, RBIs under. Will Judge put the ball in play? You can do the same thing with Stanton. Can't count on these guys, and I took the plus money with the Royals. It's a bad matchup for the Phillies, because the Mets have these lefties, and they've been so good.
I know.
Going back to last month. And this is the best team in baseball since late May, early June, what they've done.
So baseball was great yesterday. I have two regrets. One was not betting the Royals. That goes back to the Reagans game, actually. Regretted not betting them.
Okay.
Also, I regret not betting the Mets to win the series at a plus price before last night's game. I don't trust Aaron Nola for 1 second.
Yeah.
And now they are priced as high as minus 265 here.
Well, Manea was great. Bullpen shut it down. But again, what the bats did, you're a good, fair point about Nola. But it also ties into, and we'll do more of this coming up, about the bye. Let's say the Mets win and the Padres win today. Under the new format, the teams with the bye in the National League would be 5-18 now. Come on.
You mean straight up in 23 games?
Straight up. You're talking 5-18. Going back.
Don't you love it?
No. Because you're playing 162 games. And for what? Shorten the regular season, make these best of 7, and it's not right from a timing standpoint that then you have to do simulation games. We'll talk about it coming up with Suarez, but you're doing simulation games because you have 6 days off. Look at this now. So last year, Atlanta won 104 games. They won 1 game. The Dodgers were swept. The Orioles also were the 1 seed, 101 wins. They got swept. In 2022, the Dodgers won 111 games, lost. Atlanta lost in 4. They had over 100 wins. 2021, even going back. The Giants won 107 games, got beat. Milwaukee was the 2 seed, got beat. I mean, it's not, you're not used to this where you have this time off. And think about that.
How do you not like it, though?
5-18.
Don't you want to see madness? Don't you want to see unpredictability?
No.
You don't?
Not with this.
Well,
no.
I'll tell you this right now. Padres are a better team than the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, yes.
So also you could say that's the Dodgers' fault, although they can't control having 1,000 injuries on the team and every imaginable starting pitcher not being available.
Right, but you spent $1 billion and you're going with an opener today with your season on the line.
I don't like it. I'd go Yamamoto.
As would I. He only went 3 innings in Game 1. It doesn't make sense.
It was 60 pitches. Guys come back on short rest all the time.
Yeah.
I don't love Cease. I don't trust him, but I love what Big Papi said last night on the broadcast. I'll take Cease over TBD.
Mm-hmm. I want depth to be rewarded. I want to say, listen, I had the best team. I did this over a course of 162, and they should shorten the season. But over 162, let's go best of 7, at least try to reward depth and try to do something with this many days off because it is just, I mean, to think it'd be 5-18. And you're talking about.
Yeah, but the Padres are better than the Dodgers anyway, period. They're a better baseball team.
Well, they have a better team, right? That's one of the flukes. I
don't disagree. Like the Phillies, like last couple of years, they weren't better than the Braves, but they got the Braves both times. The Braves were a better team. The Braves were absolutely loaded to the gills last year.
Yeah, Braves choked. But then you could come back to timing and having those off days off. But the other thing with the Dodgers is you didn't expect all these guys to get hurt. I mean, you had a good rotation in April. It seemed. Glasnow and other guys you could have thrown, but this is just to spend all this money and you don't have a backup plan.
Here's what baseball will never do now. They're never going to go backwards. They're never going to say, we don't like this, so we're going to cut it from 6 playoff teams to 4. Let's be honest.
Okay, well,
you can't have a sport where you play for 6 months. It's 162 regular season games and 12 teams make the playoffs. That's insanity.
I got you. No doubt. We'll see what Manfred does, because it is really going to sting if the Yankees go out and the Dodgers go out and you can't even get them to get to the championship series.
Well, it's great for betting purposes because I never once wanted any part to do with the Yankees or the Dodgers, and I hope it plays out that way.
We'll see what they decide to do, because your heavy hitters, from a money standpoint, from a market standpoint, and also your teams with the 1 and the 2 seeds are getting their asses handed to them.
Padres are 3-1 to win the World Series at DK.
I would look at Tatis MVP stuff. Wouldn't you? You can get some huge numbers on Ohtani and Harper, but they might be cooked. But Tatis is your favorite to win NLCS MVP and also World Series MVP.
Well, he's completely dialed in.
He is dialed in.
Yeah. Anything close is on a rocket ship.
Bye-bye. Yeah. How about that game?
Every team is 10-1 or below. You're right. The in-play numbers got to like 16.5.
Oh, I got carried out. It's 6-5 in the third inning. The Dodgers had 1 hit the rest of the game.
Yep, shut it down. Up next, NFL, as former MVP Rich Gannon joins the program. Do the Jets have a flip they can switch now that Robert Saleh has been fired?
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Responsible sports betting starts with a game plan. That means stick to a budget. Keep it social by playing with friends. Learn the game and know the odds. Play with trusted legal operators. And if you need help, reach out. If you're getting in on the action, visit haveagameplan.org to learn more.
So, Pauly, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We go NFL here. Former MVP Rich Gannon joins the program now, as he does every Wednesday at this time, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Rich, as always, thanks for the time today. How are you?
Guys, I'm doing great. I'm excited for the start of hockey season, but we're supposed to stick to football here the next 10 minutes, so I'm going to do just that.
All right, very good. Let's start with what happened with the Jets this week. Robert Saleh, no longer the head coach. He got axed, and the DC is going to take over there now as the interim guy. Do they have a flip that they can switch, you think? Like, what changes overall with the offense?
I don't think they have a switch that they can flip. I think there's some dysfunction there in the building. You look at Saleh's record, 20-36. I think the owner has to accept some responsibility. I think Joe Douglas has to accept responsibility. You look at the quarterbacks that they brought through there, even since, the owner bought the team. Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. It just hasn't worked out. They're bringing a 40-year-old quarterback. He ruptures his Achilles, and now, he's struggling. He's not playing well. They're not playing well around him, guys, and that's the issue right now. The offensive line isn't great. They have communication issues. You look at the receiving core. I like Garrett Wilson, but, I think you look at the rest of that operation, it's not great. Breece Hall is the key to it all, not only running the ball, but receiving. And I just think that the play caller right now is part of the problem as well. And I like Nathaniel Hackett. His dad was my offensive coordinator in Kansas City, but it's just not working. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them make the change there. I think when you look at Todd Dowling, he's done it before in Tennessee. He had some success there with Ryan Tannehill. My sense is more changes are coming in New York, and I'll just pay it off with this. If things don't change dramatically here over the next 10 or 11 weeks, I think more changes are coming in New York as well. I think Woody might clean house.
How about in today's NFL, you're not running play action or any motion?
Yeah, it's just, you ask yourself, what is their identity offensively? I think you see it in the face of the quarterback. I think he's frustrated. I think he's lost a little bit of his confidence, if you can even say that about a quarterback who's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think watch his feet a little bit. You see him throw a pick six early in that game to Van Ginkel, where, it's just a simple fire zone. He doesn't see it. You see the Denver game. You see the game against the Vikings where they got clean rushers coming off the edge and Aaron doesn't even see it.
Yeah.
You never see situations like that. When you put the film on Monday morning, you don't see that with a 40-year-old quarterback that's been a 3-time NFL MVP. So when the quarterback looks confused, you've got real issues. And I think, you look at what they're doing, the Breece Hall is the key to it, guys. I hate to say it. You got Aaron Rodgers, but when, you look at Breece Hall, his scrimmage yards the last 2 weeks, he's been a non-factor. When they've been competitive, he's had a significant role in the game plan. But right now, this is an offense that really needs a jump start.
Well, would that jump start be provided by Devontae Adams, or would the team still not even know what to do with the guy?
I think that'd be like throwing, gas on the fire. I don't think that just by adding one player who's not even healthy right now, that all of a sudden you become a playoff team. I think they have some things structurally. I talked about the protection. I think the offensive line is better than it was last year, but still not a huge upgrade. You got a quarterback that doesn't have the same mobility, doesn't have a lot of Aaron's big plays over the years, guys, came on unscripted offense. His ability to create and manufacture some offense with his legs. Well, he's not doing that anymore, and the protection hasn't been great, and the pressure is getting to him. Check out his numbers versus pressure through the first 5 games of the season. Look at his numbers. He's got the fewest passing yards, fewest yards per attempt, and the worst quarterback rating through the first 5 games in his career. Clearly, something's not right in New York.
Is the locker room revolt coming in Cleveland? I saw you with Lombardi Monday. I mean, he's playing like a high school quarterback. He doesn't give you the best chance to win. I mean, I would think these guys are sick and tired of this, that he's not making the plays, and they're one of the worst teams in the league, and what that offense looks like.
You have to think that Kevin Stefanski, who played with 5 quarterbacks last year and made the playoffs, would want to make a change. And my sense is that the owner is dug in. That would have to be, you'd have to get that approved by Jimmy Haslam. I think this guy's embarrassed by the decision he made to guarantee that contract. A lot of owners, including Jerry Jones, were scratching their head and quite frankly were annoyed that Jimmy Haslam would do something like that for a guy who had some charges against him. And he hasn't been the same player, guys, since 2020. Didn't play in 2021, played in only 6 games in 2022 and 2023. And the numbers are just awful. I think he's a guy that's lost his confidence. The protection is the worst in football. He's been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL this year, 26 times. But without both starting tackles, They don't have Nick Chubb. They can't convert a third down. You see their numbers on third down? They're converting 20% on third down. You can't function as an offense when you can't convert third downs. And they can't score. They got all kind of issues. The only chance they have is to play great defense and hope that Deshaun Watson can make a play or two. But man, that's a tough way to go. It's a shame because it's a good enough roster, but the quarterback clearly holding them back. You would think that they make the change to Jameis Winston, but my sense is that has to be approved by Jimmy Haslam.
It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, former NFL MVP Rich Gannon, and he is on the Progressive guest line. 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan has now lost 18 games there with a double-digit lead at any point during the game. Is there any explanation to this, in your opinion?
No, and you can't blame it on the injuries. I mean, both of those losses, you felt like they had the game in hand, and then they can't get it done. And the Rams game was a shocker. The Cardinals game was a shocker. And I just think that they're not playing as well as they need to play. And it's not the quarterback. Brock Purdy has played well enough. He threw the interception late last week, but you look at his numbers, Mason's running the ball pretty well. And I think they're starting to get some guys back, but they just haven't played collectively good team football. And I think what's amazing to me through the first 5 weeks of the season is that I don't care who you are. If you don't play well, Seattle's a great example of that. Look what the Giants did to them. If you don't play well in all three phases, you're going to lose. These games are so close to the first 5 weeks of the season. We've had the closest number of games in the NFL, and I think that's what you're going to see. And so if you don't play your best ball for 4 quarters, that's been the problem with the 49ers. They played well in the first half in some games and haven't put 4 good quarters of football together. And unfortunately, they've come up on the short end of the stick. But losing the kicker last week certainly didn't help either.
Yeah. So it appeared as if the Chiefs brought their A game on Monday Night Football, offensively and defensively, going into the bye week. They're 5-0. Which team or teams not named Kansas City scare you the most right now?
Well, I'll give you one in each conference. I'm going to say Baltimore, and I think they've got issues. They're not perfect. Their pass defense concerns me. Look what Joe Burrow did to them last week. But when you look at the rushing differential, in other words, the amount of yards they rush for and the amount they give up. They're the number 1 rushing team in the NFL right now. They got the number 1 run defense. And to me, that's a pretty good situation to have. So you look at Lamar Jackson, you look at Derrick Henry, they're running the ball as well as anybody. They're breaking records, it seems like, each and every week. And they got a big offensive line, and they've got a guy named Patrick Ricard, who's 6'3", 305 pounds, who's a fullback, H-back, tight end, whatever you want to call him. And he's a road grader. He's really nothing more than a guard. And so they get extra linemen in the game and they make it difficult for you. And if you can't stop the run, it's going to be difficult to beat Baltimore. And we saw Lamar Jackson, you talked about Cincinnati quieted the run for most of that game, and Lamar Jackson went off throwing the football. So he's a pure dual threat player. I like what I'm seeing from Baltimore. They're well coached. And on the other side of it, I'm going to throw in San Francisco. I just think that they haven't been healthy. I like the quarterback. I think they got one of the best head coaches and play callers in the game in Kyle Shanahan. They're like the Kansas City Chiefs. They can still be competitive when they have issues with injuries. But losing the way they have the last couple of weeks has me concerned for sure.
Do you think Mike Tomlin should turn to Russell Wilson if he's healthy enough to play at this point?
I wouldn't. I think that, they're winning games with Justin Fields. His numbers have improved. Certainly didn't have his best stuff against the Cowboys. You also look at their defense disappeared in the fourth quarter. The Pittsburgh defense just got worn down in the fourth quarter. The other thing that really stood out to me in that game, guys, is how physical Mike Zimmer's defense was. They got some big hits on Justin Fields. They got some big hits on Najee Harris. They really, I thought, played well defensively. But I think Justin Fields gives you the best chance right now. They're evaluating practice. If Justin Fields stubs his toe and struggles a little bit and starts spitting the ball up and turning it over, then I think you go to Russell Wilson. But until that happens, I think we've seen enough from Justin Fields and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They want to win by playing great defense, taking the ball away, running the football, and trusting their kicker to make kicks. And that's kind of who they are right now.
Rich, we have like a minute left here. Nico Collins, Texans wide receiver, leads everybody in receiving yards this year with 567. Now placed on IR, going to miss at least 4 games. We always hear about next man up in the NFL. Is it real? I'm sure you were in this situation a lot in your career. Is it really that easy?
It isn't. Not when you lose your best receiver. Nico Collins, guys, as you know, was on fire. He was playing some great ball, leads the National Football League in receiving yards, had that 60-yard touchdown, and you saw him pull up around about the 5-yard line with that hamstring. So, that's a big loss for a guy that can stretch the field. But CJ has been really good in terms of being able to adjust. I like this offense, but that is a big loss. It's tough when you lose your number one receiver.
Yeah, that's the side of the fence I fall on as well, and I never played quarterback in the NFL, obviously. So, Rich, love talking to you. Thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate that.
You guys are the best.
There you
Thanks,
go.
sir.
Former NFL MVP Rich Gannon on the program. Progressive guest line. Next up here for the Texans, by the way, at Patriots, at Packers, Colts defense, they should still shred, at the Jets on a Thursday night. Best secondary in football, potentially.
Yeah, the bye week's late. Bad beat.
Yep.
Yeah, tough.
We'll get into today's Major League Baseball card up next. He has been terrific for more than a month. Will his magical run continue tonight?
They're off.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Oh, yeah.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
They go to the bottom of the fifth in Detroit. Tigers 2, Guardians nothing. So Detroit bettors in the first 5. You are winners there. We'll see how the total plays out moving forward. Coming up in about 40 minutes, we have Phillies at the Mets, 2 games later on tonight. Some numbers here in that matchup.
550 in play, by the way. I mean, it's a 2-run lead. That's a little crazy, no? Pitching chaos,
can the Guardians hit?
Yeah. Well, at least they've had threats. They can't get the big hit. That's been the problem since game 1.
They just had 2 guys on and 1 out, and Ramirez came to the plate, and he can't do anything with it either.
Yep, and they had ducks on the pond against Scuba, but he got the double play twice. You can lay a 1.5 with Detroit, minus 160. 5.5 under minus 160 now. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. They got Scuba in their back pocket, too, as well. Not looking good for Cleveland.
Oh, they have the hammer.
Yeah, that's right. Man, you've got another team with the bye. Why would you want the bye, right? You're avoiding the bye moving forward.
That's the delicate balance that teams, I'm surprised. Here's the maybe it depends on, because if the Dodgers win this game tonight, they're still alive, and that series is not dead. But if the Padres win and that's it, and the Dodgers bow out again early, I would tell you that maybe at this point, the best thing to happen, they played the penultimate series of the year against each other.
Yeah.
And the Padres won game 1. If the Padres swept the Dodgers, they would have been even, and the Padres, the way they were playing, could have won the division. Maybe the best thing going is that they didn't, and they actually had to play in the wild card round.
Mm-hmm.
And if teams can be good enough, that's the middle they have to find, right? Good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to win their division.
Yep, and it's also a unique situation that the Mets have been the best team in baseball since late May, and the Padres have been the best team in baseball since the All-Star break. How they just took off and made the right moves, and this Mets pitching staff has been filthy, what they've done.
All right, game 2 coming up today in New York. It's Quintana going against Suarez. Last 4 starts for Ranger Suarez. 0-2, 17 innings, 15 earned runs, a 7.79 ERA. All the numbers are bad.
Yeah.
Crushed by the Nats in his last start. 5 innings against the Mets before that. 2 earned, 3 walks, 5 hits overall. Overall, in 3 starts against the Mets this year, pretty solid. 2.30 with the ERA.
Good, yeah.
Quintana, 7 starts since getting shelled in 3 straight appearances in August. He allowed 0 runs in 5 of them. Allowed 1 run in 1 game and 2 runs in the other. That's 7 starts we're talking about. A 0.64 ERA in 42-plus innings in that span. 3 starts versus Philly this year, a 2.81 ERA. FIP was great, whip right there. So this guy has turned into suddenly Cy Young.
I know. Incredible numbers. A lot like Manaea, who was coming out of doing mop-up duty with the Giants and out of the bullpen and had horrible postseason numbers. What a season he had and what he did yesterday. Citi Field opened in 2009. They've never had a clinching celebration there. This would be the first time. How about that? And here's the thing about Suarez that concerns me. You mentioned how bad he was in September. They said they fixed something in his mechanics that they noticed. And then he was quoted the other day as saying, what happens in September stays in September, he said. So I don't think it's going to go well for him. And to me, you cannot bet the under here. And I had the over yesterday. All 3 games have gone over. The Phillies bullpen is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so bad. They got an ERA of 10, how bad they've been. So it's all, the head-to-head is even. And now the fact that the Mets can take them out and move on to the NLCS, it's going to be quite the atmosphere today. So, blood in the water, and they'll be ready to go, rocking in New York. And I want Quintana. I don't want Suarez. And if they happen to go to the pen early, we've seen it. It's not going to go well. You can't trust anyone out of that bullpen. So all hands on deck. There is no tomorrow if you're the Phillies. I mean, who can you trust out there after this guy if he can't give you much?
Well, remember, if you go back, this is why baseball is such a long season. Probably mid to late May, Suarez was one of the favorites to win the National League Cy Young.
Yeah.
Couldn't touch the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he won like 9 starts or 9 games right away, and he was on pace to just have like this amazing season. Got hurt. Numbers regressed a little bit, and here we are today now wondering if you can actually correct how bad it's been here down the stretch for him. So I'm with you. The total did move from 7.5 at a lot of spots to 8, so everybody's been betting it now.
Yeah.
And the prior games were 7. And so now this one gets juiced up.
I don't have much on this game as far as props, although there's a quick pick up at Caesars. Harper, Soto, Ohtani over 1.5 total bases is 9-1. I like that. But also now or never here for Schwarber and Harper and Turner and these guys. But I think you can get over 1.5 bases with Harper to start. What do you, Alonso again? Deep? What do you think? With anything with the Mets?
Well,
props?
maybe because he's all of a sudden like red hot, which is really, really good. Looking at pitcher outs for tonight, the Nolan number, 17.5 yesterday, never had a chance. Although, can you imagine having Walker Buehler under that we talked about?
I got in the bad beats.
Okay, all right.
How about that?
So Suarez, his prop tonight is 12.5. Can he go beyond the 4th inning here and be effective enough to actually go over that? And Quintana, as I said, has been awesome. It's 15.5. So he needs to go into the 6th.
I think he can do that. I think he can go over. I think he'll go over his K prop too, 4.5.
Yeah, based on how like a good and efficient he's been. Okay.
What a story, man! He's been dynamite.
He's been playing for 12 years, I think, in the league.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
Big surprise, but again, sense of urgency here. Mets got to close this out. Don't want to go back to Philly for Game 5.
I would agree with that.
And also, you win, and you could sit back and relax in a couple of days and set your rotation too.
Yeah. Okay, so then later on in the American League. This is kind of the sandwich game. Yankees are playing at the Royals. Schmidt goes against Lugo. Schmidt missed 3 months during the season. Since his return, 5 starts, 0-2, with a 3.65 ERA. Not awful. 9.5 Ks per 9. However, the walks have been an issue. 3.65 walks per 9. The whip, hence 1.30. 8 road appearances on the year. 1.39 ERA. Lugo did take on Baltimore last week in the playoffs. He was good. They only lasted, they pulled him after 4 1/3, got out, made it a bullpen game, but he was really good. He pitched twice against the Yanks this year. He went 7 innings each time. He allowed 4 earned the first time. The last time, it was like a month ago, against New York at Yankee Stadium, 0 earned runs, 10 Ks, no walks. It was total domination.
I don't know what I'm going to get out of the guy. He's either been filthy or awful going back the last couple months. So I also kind of take out what happened because the Orioles were such a travesty and a train wreck, what he did. But you have to feel good if you're the Yankees. You can get this one today, and you're going to throw Cole tomorrow. And is Cole going to have back-to-back rough starts? The other thing has been what's going on with this Kansas City offense since September. Although, good job in Game 1. But, Perez led the way in Game 2. They didn't do much either. So the other thing is, can I get Witt going? I do like Witt plus 475 with a stolen base today. But again, as I said earlier, everything under with Judge. This is such a huge game and series for this guy. Are you going to do anything? Hitting $130? Yeah, most strikeouts ever? Playoff postseason, what you have per plate appearances? So it's huge for him. And the fact that these other guys are playing well, at least they did in Game 1, and Stanton and Judge haven't stepped up and done anything. Judge under total bases and Judge under hits, runs, and RBIs is plus money. And I would do the same thing with Stanton in this game. But, it's enormous. I mean, you would think on normal circumstances, Boone, Cashman, all these guys got to be coaching for their jobs. You can't go out one and done when it's sitting there. A trip to the World Series should be on a silver platter for you. So it'd be a long offseason in New York if they can't get this done. I don't know what to make of Schmidt. It's a tough call.
Yeah, I kind of changed my tune on him.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Yankees can rough up Lugo. I wouldn't go over 14.5. I wouldn't go over 4.5 Ks either. It's a tough read with the starters.
I know.
And because Lugo has been so inconsistent.
Lugo was an innings monster the entire year, at the very top of the list for all pitchers in Major League Baseball. However, what if it's kind of the same deal against Baltimore, right? And it's a 1-1 game or 0-0, and maybe he walks the guy and he's allowed 5 hits again, and it's 4 innings into it, and all of a sudden, he's not sharp, and do they turn it into a bullpen game? They very easily could do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
On the flip side, he might go 7 again.
Yeah, now what am I going to do with Heel? I mean, can I go Schmidt, Heel, Holmes, Weaver? I could do that. I get the off day. Yeah. I mean, to go up 2-1, and then I got Cole going. I'll tell you, he was too jacked up, but I know I can bring Rodon in for 3, and he's just going to be Superman and just scream. He was too jacked up.
I hated it.
Struck out the side.
He looked like a high school kid out there.
Yeah, and they got to him by the 4th inning.
You're a paid professional. Knock it off. You look like a complete idiot on the mound. By the way, will Judge get a walk tonight? Will he walk once? Minus 250.
Is that what it is? Yeah. That's the interesting thing about these props when you look at stolen base or to have a hit, what some of the prices are with these big-name players.
Well, don't you want, you said Witt, don't you want Garcia to steal a base tonight? The kid's been blazing hot.
Pham already had one. He's plus 750. I could go Garcia, yeah, but I don't think Witt's going to struggle for 3 games in a row. In the late game, we're doing it again, right? Everything Tatis. Tatis over everything. Hits, total bases.
Well, I would
want
also,
Tatis over?
Because I don't trust Cease, I would also look at Ohtani tonight.
Yes.
Remember, he made that gigantic mistake in Game 1. I don't know what he was doing making that pitch.
Yeah, let me throw this out quickly because the 2-0 Tigers. Skubal, ALCS MVP, 16-1. I saw it today. I think that's worth a look.
Pauly's going to recap more of yesterday's betting action with Win Some, Lose Some coming up next here on VSiN.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Sean Green and Ryan Kramer bring an energetic approach to sports betting to keep you entertained while sweating your bets on the Sports Gambling Podcast Live at VSiN.
There is something to the idea of the smart teams might be zagging. You see all the best offenses in the National Football League have a fullback.
If you like defense, if you like football, how can you not be okay with 2 high safeties?
Join Sean and Ryan every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on the Sports Gambling Podcast Live at VSiN, right here on the Sports Betting Network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Grand Slam in the divisional series round. Cash it. 7-1. The over-under total playoffs was 1.5. You're almost home. Team to score 6 runs or more in an inning. Yes, $1.20. That already comes in with what the Padres did. Alonso to go deep, 4-1. Alonso home run and the Mets win, plus 730. Winker to go deep, plus 750. Mookie to hit a home run, 5-1. Hernandez, plus 520. Tatis, plus 310. And Tatis to go deep and the Padres win, plus 480. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. Again, we asked you to send in your tickets, FTM at VSiN.com. Tweet at us as well. The Tigers looking to go up 2-1. This is Ryan in Washington, D.C. Hello, Masson. He has 4,200-1 on a Mets-Tigers World Series. $21,000 on a $5 bet. You can't be serious. Whatever you do, Ryan, don't hit the cash out button. They offer $500. Tell them to pound rock, kick sand, pound sand, kick rocks.
It's a good idea what to do with the bonus bet, by the way. That's
yeah.
It's a $5 bonus bet waiting in his account. He's like, okay, let me take a shot here.
Wow. Like all these people that have these tickets are so live now. Mets can eliminate the Phillies and go. Detroit can go up 2-1. Oh, right. You guys are close. But, check those, bad offer, but check the cash outs as well. Patrick B. sent this in. He was here at Circa playing dancing drums. Remember we've talked about this game where you got to cover up the lid? He was playing for a long time. It was giving him good play, getting the bonus occasionally, covered up the lid and he got it. He got the grand for $22,000. What a feeling. Go Broncos. Go Patrick. Thanks for sending it in. FTM at VSiN.com. Good job, sir. Congrats to you. Now, one lose some. Have you ever encountered this? The dog's going for a walk, and they notice there's some leftover chips and salsa, and he's having none of it, where the dog refuses to move, where he's like, Mom, can I get a treat there? There's a chip there. I'd like to have it.
No.
And she's like...
They've never been this stubborn.
Right. This is good. He is not moving. He wants chips, and he notices it right there. He's like, so close. It's right there. A little snack for me? No. And he sits down, and she's like, dude, come on. Can you help me? No. And then finally at that he goes, I'm just laying down. I'm not moving. I want a chip. Give me a chip.
We don't throw food away.
He goes, there he is. Right? Lays down. Not having it. He's just staring the whole time at the table.
So then do you give in?
Got to give him something, right? Yeah. Have to. I mean, he's not going to move. I don't know how big. I mean,
he's out of gas.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big fella. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't want to carry him around.
I know. Good looking dog.
The rest of the walk.
Good looking dog, no doubt. Excellent. Well played. Great videos. Strong. Send them in. Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. We'll put you up there. Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Thanks to everyone who sends them in on a daily basis. You mentioned it. Walker Buehler under 14.5 outs. He gave up 6 runs. He went 5. They kept him in the game. That's one of the strangest games I've ever seen. Grand slam, 6-run inning. The base running issue with Machado. Was he out? What happened? 6-5 in the third inning. 3 hits the rest of the game.
Yeah, Profar almost robbing bets yet again, right? How that dude is getting... I saw a great tweet. He had a better time at Santa Anita than he did in the second inning last night.
Yes.
Getting the $100,000 watch stolen.
What a rough inning.
But that's because King's pitch count and Buehler's pitch count was still so low. They're like, well, we're not going to pull him yet.
I know.
So we're not going to go to the pen right now. I can't believe he got it. I cannot believe that he went over his outs prop.
Sick beat. Sick. Still in the game, getting roughed up. Gets a 6 spot.
How many mound visits?
Yeah, right. And between the Freeman thing and then they butcher the double play grounder and it would just forget about it. Blues cracking over 5.5 or 6. 3-2 in the second period. Nothing the rest of the way, and the Blues hit the post with the empty net. Put the VSiN experts to work for you this football season. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Sign up. Get your first year for $199. Promo code FTM. $199. Full access to everything we do. Less than $20 a month. 24/7 video access. The betting splits. The betting guide in the NBA and NHL. Promo code FTM. $199 for a year. VSiN.com/subscribe. Also get up there to the VSiN store. The polos are awesome. The pullover that I wear all the time is excellent. You have Degenerate's Paradise, the Jeff Davis term that he used, that you can go T-shirt or the hoodie that you have. Great stuff up there at the VSiN store.
Yeah, now with hockey back, you have the Winnipeg Jets jersey on today. I have this hoodie on. Don't wear it very often on the show, but today we make the exception with the sport coming back now. This goes back to, I think, 2019 when we talked about NHL first periods like an hour out of every single show that we did in the mornings because they were like 2 or 3 teams were hitting at 75% or higher for a long time during that year, and it was great, and the markets were out of their minds with how much they were moving. So Jeff Davis here at Circa came on, and we're talking. He goes, he had one of the great lines ever on the network and called it a Degenerate's Paradise. Made it into a shirt/hoodie. It's up right now. I put it up on Twitter today, on Instagram as well. You can order it. They're like $29, I think, is the price that popped up. This is one of the nicest and most comfortable hoodies I've ever worn. I've had it tucked away for 5 years. I only wear it once in a while. It's awesome.
I love the pullover and the polo shirts.
Me too. So I'm watching hockey last night. I had the bet on Connor Bedard over 3.5 shots. Bet that here at Circa. Did you track that game at all? The Blackhawks had 1 shot on goal into the first period. Mm-hmm. He had 0 shots on goal late second period. Then they won on a power play, and then he ended up with 5 in the game. Oh. So his numbers and some of those books that were offering over 4.5, whatever, they all got there somehow. They had 1 shot as a team in the entire first period.
Yeah, I thought they're going to get run out. And the next thing you know, it's 3-2.
Oh, by the way, that's probably another beat. Final score 5-2, 2 goals. Total was 6, 2 goals in the final minute.
God damn, I missed that.
To go over.
Okay. 2-0 Tigers, bottom of the 6th. They only have 3 hits, but timely.
Oh, this is getting.
Yeah. So what should Ryan do? What would you do if he goes up 2-1?
I'm not hitting that cash out button.
No, absolutely not. Whatever. Don't do that.
No.
But he could be up 2-1 in both series, then he goes to the championship series. Then 1 win away. Then it's easy to maneuver after that.
Yeah, I mean, if they both get there. Then you're live, obviously. I don't know. What do you want to do right now? Would you recommend?
You can take a little Phillies today.
You could bet the Phillies on the game today, sure, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
In terms of series prices, you can't do anything because you can lose everything then.
Uh-huh. And he's in a great spot if the Royals upset the Yankees. And he's in a good spot if the Mets take on the Padres.
No.
So.
No, he's in a good spot if the Mets take on the Dodgers.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. What's it?
Padres are, I don't know.
The Dodgers were $1.40 favorite, but with home field, yeah, I don't know.
I guess I'm saying maybe not in terms of the price. I'm talking about in terms of which is the better team right now. Who again, are the Dodgers going to have to go to Kershaw at some point? Koufax have any time left?
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to do?
Ohtani 14-1, Harper 15-1 right now, NLCS MVP.
Oh, who would you take on the Mets?
God, I know. I looked at it. I don't know.
Lindor did.
There's too many guys that are chipping in. Nimmo, Winker, Alonso, Lindor. That's tough. That's a tough call. Maybe it's a pitcher. I'd like to look at Minaya. Doing it for the aunt who passed away. I forgot. I think it was.
He's been really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, then how many guys could you make the case for on the Padres? You can make a case for like 6 guys in the lineup.
I know, but the way what Tatis is doing, I know there's so many sticks, but Tatis is a favorite for a reason. But
by the way, let me ask you this: What do you think about Machado's base running last night? How he comes in on the grass?
I think it's ridiculous, but it's the rule. They have to change the rule. And I know good recall by Harold Reynolds. I was watching MLB Network, going back to what Reggie Jackson did in the World Series when he stuck the elbow out there, late 70s. But if that's the rule, okay. As long as it's not a swipe tag play, he's allowed to do that. I would have called him out.
So would have I. I mean, he clearly runs onto the grass. He's impeding the path of the ball.
Yeah.
So right away in the broadcast, Smoltzy and Joe Davis, they said that's a legal play. A-Rod, after the game on the postgame show, said if Freeman hits him square in the back, then Machado is supposed to be out.
I find that hard to believe because it'd be a piece of cake on the replay then, where you just say it'd be.
I don't know how that's not in the rule book though. That should be an automatic out.
They said on MLB Network he was okay according to the rule book.
He
can't do that if it's avoiding a swipe tag.
No, right. But he's trying to accomplish one thing. He's trying to get in the way of the ball.
Yeah.
And making it impossible for Freeman to actually get it over to second base.
Turned out to be an enormous play.
Oh, my God.
The floodgates
they
opened after that. I know.
How about Jackson Merrill getting the second in time, and he wasn't out?
Yep. Ball got stuck in his glove, seemed unsure of himself, and then everyone's safe, right?
Yeah. That was the when all hell was breaking loose, and they completely comedy of errors by the Dodgers. But up next, some NFL. Sal Palantonio, ESPN's going to join the program. One-score games are at an all-time high. Does that continue, or will we start to see more blowouts? Coming up here and Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The only thing better than football is the excitement of all the content.